All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we got a lot to talk about in our live stream. We're talking about why the demand for blockchain and blockchain talent in 2022 is going to be absolutely insane. A lot has changed this past year, and I do not see this slowing down anytime soon. Okay, so we're going to look at that in depth and what that means for you if you're watching this channel, if you're trying to break into the blockchain space. I'm going to talk about that in depth, okay? We're going to look at the crypto markets. We're going to answer some of your questions, look at a lot of other news updates that have happened in the past since our live stream they did on Friday. Again, we do these live streams Monday through Friday on this channel. Just subscribe, turn on notifications down below. You'll find out about those whenever we go live, or you can follow me on Twitter in case you're not getting the YouTube notifications. Some people do that for whatever reason. YouTube decides not to notify some people. But anyways, you know, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step-by-step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. Last but not least, nothing I'm saying in this video is not financial advice, and there's lots of scammers in the comment section below. Like, I'm never going to give you my phone number on YouTube, ask you to invest with me. That's absolutely crazy. Never going to DM you on a social network and try to get you into some secret chat room to, invest in something. So anyways, we got people jumping in the chat here. We got Ethan, we got Automatic Beats, we got Lee, we got ENIAC, Robbie. Welcome. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in here. So I saw this report come across my desk, and I wanted to talk about it because, this is something that I've seen a lot happen, something I've seen quite a bit happen this past year, and I forecast this to continue into 2022. And they, put a lot of numbers and figures to this, so I want to bring it up on my screen here. So basically, Solidity and Rust developers are drawing higher wages and richer token rewards. Okay, so this is basically for people who are in blockchain, who are actually creating blockchain-based applications. At the end of the day, that's my main focus on this channel, is to help people break into this industry, learn hard technical skills. If you haven't seen those tutorials, you can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find most free tutorials there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. Focus a lot on Solidity, which is, one of the skills mentioned in this video. So let's look at the quick take. So the demand for good crypto developers ramped up over the last year, but many are locked into current jobs, okay? As a result, companies are offering more lucrative token rewards to lure them away. So this is actually a part of the dynamic that has changed a little bit over the past, year or so. So, ever since I got in the blockchain space, basically in 2017, even through the bear market, we still had quite a bit of demand for blockchain developers. Like, if you had the right skills, and there were still lots of people who wanted to build the technology that we have now, and so they were always going to pay high wages for the right people, for sure. Simply because the supply of people who know how to do that type of stuff is really small compared to the demand. I mean, the demand for blockchain is so insanely high because people who are creating the technology itself see this massive upside. I mean, we're seeing billion-dollar companies, billion-dollar protocols created on a relatively short amount of time, okay, like in under a year from scratch, okay? And so that's an insanely huge accomplishment. And so that basically is what's driving a lot of the demand, okay? So part of that's got to do with tokens, and that's a lot what's changed over the past several years. Now that we've been in a bull market rather than a bear market, which is a lot of people building throughout 2018, 2019, token incentives have really changed the game. So in addition to high salaries, we're seeing people basically say, like, it's getting harder to compete with higher salaries, and people are paying in the deeper six-figure range, and they're saying, like, hey, okay, what else can we do? Well, basically, we've got a token, so let's just add token incentives on for this person. So we'll just give you, extra from that sort of way of compensating you, okay? And this is becoming more and more common. So let's look at this. Crypto developers who can code in programming languages, Solidity and Rust, have seen salaries and token rewards rise rapidly over the last year thanks to increasing demand and a small talent pool. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Supply is really small. Demand is massive, okay? So Sean Potts, founder of crypto-focused hiring agency Plexus Resources Solutions, says that through the bear market in 2018, 2019, it was possible to find a decent developer who could work with Solidity, the language used by Ethereum, for salaries between $100,000 to $120,000. But by the beginning of Q3 2020, it had been a totally different story. So we're looking at figures in the more like $140,000 to $150,000 range. all the way up to $250,000 with token incentives on top of that for people who are really good. So these salaries are actually pretty close to what I have kind of referenced a lot on this channel for talking about average compensation, especially in the United States, being about $150,000 for somebody with some good experience, right? Not going to wake up tomorrow, start making that kind of money. It's not what I'm trying to say in this video. But somebody who's got some skills and proficiency, that can be, that's a very realistic expectation for somewhere in the average. Now, part of what's skewing that average is you have people on the upside of that, actually making way, way, way higher than that. And that's really as reported by recruiting platforms. So we've seen that with like ZipRecruiter. Let's just pull it up. Okay, so basically, we've seen this. This is the stat that I'm talking about, like ZipRecruiter salaries, so $154,000 per year, smack in the middle. But what you really have is a high concentration of people making a lot more than that, who are really pulling this average up. Because really you have this sort of median chunk right here, a little bit below that, but then you have all these people building it up. So like I said, that is as reported by a recruiting platform like this that actually has that kind of data. But what's really skewing this data even crazier in the industry is people who are, basically doing deals within their personal networks to make a lot more than that with much higher token compensation, and that stuff's not getting reported in the data. So that's part of what makes it hard to hire good talent, is the fact that for really, really, really good people, it's just sort of like you just send out some emails and get back some absolutely ridiculous offers, especially when you're talking about new projects with token incentives. So why am I bringing this up? So basically, part of this is to show you what's happened in the past year or so, how this space has changed. The salaries have gotten even crazier. The token incentives have gotten even crazier. And I do expect that to continue to 2022 for exactly what we're talking about. So basically, it's the same reason I expect cryptocurrency prices to trend higher. I've been talking about that in those videos. We'll talk about the crypto markets here in a minute. It's just demand, adoption. We have more and more people. Blockchain is bubbled up to a low-key mainstream thing. I mean, I have a lot more people, normal people out on the street asking me about blockchain than I ever have before my life before now. We're seeing celebrities, launch NFT platforms, seeing celebrities drop NFTs, mainstream celebrities, talk about crypto on social media, all this type of stuff. And it's not like a massive parabolic blow off top. Like, things are really changing, okay? So that just generates demand for the tech. And like I was saying before, you have all these people who are realizing that you can build billion-dollar projects in a relatively short amount of time, and they all need blockchain developers to help create that stuff. So that's not slowing down anytime soon, and for that reason, I do not see these benefits for you all we're talking about here slowing down anytime soon. Now, some people say like, oh, but what if you flood the market with talent? But you can't really do that. Like, you can't create enough developers at a fast enough pace to like make a dent in that demand. Because if everybody watching this video overnight just like changed their career and became like a senior level engineer, still wouldn't change anything. So let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Somebody says they're Solidity developer plus Unity video game developer. He says he could pull $200,000 from another company to work for their project, but he's creating his own. Yeah, we do see this in many cases where this is another problem with the developer demand, is a lot of people are just deciding to create their own projects. And they're like, yeah, it looks pretty cool to make, a multi-six-figure salary, but I think a lot of really good developers also realize that they could just make their own project and make a lot more than that. Okay, so let's we got several other stories that I want to look at here, but speaking of this overall trend of adoption and demand going up, let's see how that, that's my thesis on what's happening with the crypto markets, okay? Because we're creating technology that has real benefits, real use cases, okay, and that generates demand, and more people want to use that technology, and that technology in many cases has cryptocurrency, inextricably linked into how you use it, okay? So especially stuff like Ether, for example, like if you want to buy an NFT, you want to do DeFi, you want to swap tokens, all that type of stuff, you need Ether in your wallet to do that. And, we have a huge network effect being built on top of Ethereum, and that's one of the reasons that I expect that the price will continue to trend higher, because I don't really see that adoption slowing down anytime soon. So I know people are kind of saying like, hey, when are we going to break out of this, local downtrend that we've been in for crypto markets? I don't have an answer to that question, but that's still what I feel is happening right now, is that we are still in a global long-term uptrend, okay, but we're in this sort of we're in this kind of cyclical undulation, right? You kind of have these boom and busts along the ways, but I still think that our uptrend has not been broken. So we'll see. I mean, we've got no parabolic blow off top in Q4 of 2021 like so many people were promising on the internet. It's kind of starting to get embarrassing how many predictions have just not come true. So stay safe out there, everybody. At this point, all you have left are the handful of faithful people who have not made insane predictions and have been insanely wrong, and also just your own critical thinking skills, which at the end of the day is what I hope to try to give you on this channel. So, what's my... So, in the spirit of that, like in the how learn to think for yourself, why do I think that we're going to continue trending higher? Well, it's like I was talking about the adoption. So basically my base case here is that as long as that adoption doesn't slow down, that would continue to have cryptocurrency prices increase over time, okay? So that base case is an adoption supercycle, which would turn into a cryptocurrency supercycle. So now, could that turn into a boom and bust along the way? It certainly could, because of how, human behavior works in markets. We saw this, happen here when people just got crazy and the price went up really fast and it went down really fast. And we had basically a little miniature bear market, okay? So that could happen again, and it could happen on a much larger scale. So if we have something like where people just get absolutely crazy and get euphoric, and we have, the Ether price doubles, triples, quadruples in like a month, you know what I mean? Then that looks like a parabolic blow off top, and because it went up so fast, I would expect it to go down fast and to have a very long correction, despite the fact that the technology is continuing to take off, because that's when the price action gets detached from fundamentals, and that sort of sends a shockwave through the market. So that's sort of the caveat. And the other caveat is, prices can go down for a couple of reasons. One, you could just be dead wrong, you know what I mean, about what's happening here. I don't think that's true. The other factor is you could have a black swan event where something happens that basically makes crypto valueless. Highly unlikely, but it could happen. What is roadmap to get a job in this field for college student? That is a good question. So what you can do in the meantime is go look at my YouTube homepage. You can find my pinned video there. It's called How to Become a Blockchain Developer in 2021. A lot of that video is still highly relevant, but I am re-recording that video for 2022 probably tomorrow. Okay, so it won't be released tomorrow. It'll probably be released after Christmas. But yeah, definitely check that out. So speaking of Christmas or the holidays, depending on where you are and what you celebrate, I will be taking off. I'll be taking a brief holiday from live streaming starting this Friday. So the 24th, that's Christmas Eve. I'm not going to be live streaming that day. So our last day that I'm going to be live streaming for about a week is going to be this Thursday. Okay. So I will be taking Christmas Eve, which is this Friday, off, and then the entire week after that. Okay, so I will still be releasing published YouTube videos. So I'll still be uploading content on my channel. I will just not be live streaming, taking a much needed holiday from these updates. Okay, so I will be back in full force on January 3rd. Okay, that's gonna be Monday after the new year. Be taking just about a week off. So if you show up during that time, you're like, hey, where are the live streams? That's where the live streams are. They'll be back online January 3rd after this Thursday. So one thing we can do to make this problem better is definitely what our initiative is to grow the team in 2022. So we still are hiring. If you have sent an application in, I'm currently in the middle of reviewing applications, but we're still accepting new applications. We'll probably move towards new next steps in hiring pretty soon. So there's some urgency on this if you've been thinking about this. Basically, we're trying to grow the team in 2022. The primary needs here are more content creators in this channel. So I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry. But we can do more if we have more content creators. And if I do something like take a couple of days off, then you can still have awesome updates with co-hosts on these live streams, stuff like that. So we need primary needs are developer content creators. So if you know how to code for blockchain and you are good on camera, can explain things on your screen, do tutorials, that type of stuff, we definitely need you. And we also need research analysts, content creators. So if you understand how to interpret the news, spot important things, you actually know how to use crypto projects, you know how to use a MetaMask wallet, you know how to use DeFi apps, NFTs, all that type of stuff, and kind of are somewhat crypto native, quote unquote, then we definitely need you too. We also need a general graphic designer, mostly for YouTube thumbnails, but for other stuff too. And then also a project manager to stay on top of all the crazy stuff we have going on here. It's a lot more than meets the eye behind the scenes. So you can find those posts over at dappuniversity.com/jobs. I'll put a link in the live chat replay. There you go. Somebody says, how can I get a job as a blockchain developer? So definitely go check out that video I was talking about earlier. Go to my YouTube homepage and find that video there that's pinned on how to become a blockchain developer in 2021. But I do plan on re-recording that video to update it for 2022. I'll probably do that tomorrow, but check on my YouTube channel. It should come out after Christmas. Okay, so other stuff that has happened since our live stream on Friday that I want to talk about is this. Another potential trend for 2022 and beyond, okay? So we had talked about, all the different things underneath the crypto umbrella. So, you've got this, I'm going to call it actually the blockchain umbrella. It's not as trendy of a keyword, but I think it's accurate because basically we have all this technology that is, supposed to really change how we use the internet, that is powered by blockchains, and it's not possible without blockchain. So it's all examples of blockchain technology. I'm talking about crypto as in cryptocurrency. People use that word interchangeably, but I mean cryptocurrency, Web 3.0, all right, NFTs, decentralized finance or DeFi, gaming, all that type of stuff, Metaverse, okay? But another trend that I've talked about a little bit on my channel is this, and I want to bring it up because I saw a tweet thread on it. It's sort of a lesser discussed topic, which is social tokens, okay? So we saw this tweet thread come out, I think I saw it yesterday, talking about what this could look like. So basically, in the future, instead of measuring a creator's clout based on her Instagram following, we could point to her market cap. That's kind of what a social token could do. So if you see somebody with 1 million followers online, that's a cool metric. But what if you didn't use that metric? What if you saw the market cap of their total cryptocurrency that they issued, okay? So tokens allow us to measure both breadth and depth of a creator's community. So examples, and they kind of have a fictional mock-up of like a Swift token, like a Taylor Swift token. So maybe, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a mock-up. I don't think it's real. So I don't know if anybody, if Taylor Swift is watching this video, wants to talk about whether the Swift token is real or plans to do a Swift token, let me know. So basically, say Kim Kardashian launches Kim token with 10 million Kim in circulation, each trading at $100. That gives Kim a market cap of $1 billion. So say her sister Kylie launches Kylie token also with 10 million. At first, Kylie also trades at $100. They start out with an equal $1 billion market cap. Okay, so the market cap has got a lot to do with how many tokens there are times the price. So the total supply times the price, that's the market cap. But say Kylie starts to get more successful, she launches her cosmetics line, her skincare line, her swimmer line, her future earnings potential goes up. So all of a sudden, Kylie is trading at $200. Kylie's market cap is $2 billion, double Kim's. Okay, tokens are better captured. They better capture a depth of fandom than followers do. Okay, so Billie Eilish and Katy Perry might have similar size online followings, but Billie's fans are much more engaged. Okay, so the market cap of Billie will likely be much higher than the market cap of Katy. Fans would pay more to own Billie token. So that's a really interesting point, is that it's not just about the total number of following, it's about the depth of engagement and commitment, which I think is a really interesting way of measuring this, okay? And a new use case for what you can do with crypto. So tokens also let early fans share in the upside they help create. Say Lil Nas launched Nas back before Old Town Road. His token was worth $100 then. Today it might be worth $10,000. So this could be really cool. You could get in with a creator right before they release some massive, massive monumental hit. And get an early 100x return. So it's like speculating on creators and what they can do before they hit it big. So tokens translate social capital into economic capital. This financialization of everything has its downsides. Okay, in the future, we'll buy, sell, and compare creator tokens. All right. So it's a really interesting, really interesting possibility for what you could do with crypto later. That being said, I mean, the biggest thing that I feel like is holding something like this back is regulatory clarity, because I have a feeling somebody at the SEC sitting there going like, this looks an awful like a security. So how do we position this more favorably in the eyes of crypto regulators to make this actually possible? Now, speaking of crypto regulations, I've talked about this a lot on my channel recently, where, we've seen hints at sort of a hierarchy of crypto use cases and what regulators intend to regulate. Now, we don't know that this is totally true, right? Like, it's kind of, you don't really know what's true until it's happened. But it seems more and more like people are saying the top of the list is centralized stablecoins, basically, because that's a direct competition with central banks, and we don't want a repeat of a private banking crisis that basically coincided with the Great Depression. So I think it was just why central banks were created in the first place. So I think that's the top of the list, but you guys should go down this list. It's like, utility tokens, NFTs, cryptocurrencies that are native layer 1 tokens that are used for staking, like Ethereum, et cetera. Those are on like the lower end of the spectrum from what they tend to regulate. Now, I don't know where social tokens would fall on this list. So it seems to be that like, tokens that have utility, they aren't just supposed to be speculative investment vehicles, would have more of a, would be more favorable. What am I trying to say here? Will be less likely to have cumbersome regulations placed upon them. So we'll see. Can you pull it off of social tokens? We're going to find out. Somebody says when your friends don't buy your social tokens. Sad face. So, this is also really interesting. Sort of like the bad takes about the internet and how that's relevant to blockchain, Web 3.0, crypto, et cetera, et cetera. I think this is real. Okay. Even if it's not real, we've seen this kind of take before. It's like internet may just be a passing fad as millions give up on it. It's like crypto is kind of the same way. A lot of people feel that way. You get a lot of people. So it's interesting what's happened with crypto, how it's going through this life cycle where basically like initially you have all these people that are like, hey, that's crazy. That's a scam. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. To like, well, my Uber driver, just bought, like a Porsche. So maybe I should like think about this. To then you get people that kind of go down that rabbit hole and then they start using it and then they get frustrated. They're like, hey, this stuff is broken. Maybe they get in there and then like they realize that ETH, the gas fees are high, all this type of stuff. Like you kind of get in and you realize you go through this insane onboarding process of buying tokens on an exchange, moving into a wallet, self-custody, and they're like, I hate this. Like I'm never going to do this. And I think that's a really similar place to like what this article is expressing. Like people kind of just giving up on crypto. Or they get in, lose some money, and they just bounce. Okay. So I think we're going to see this adoption for a lot of people, kind of happen in these waves. Okay. And at the end of the day, like I do think we can see significant crypto adoption in terms of mass adoption without people actually, operating with blockchains at such a, intimate level that they are now, where basically like, if you want to really do stuff with DeFi NFTs, I mean, you got to have an ETH wallet. You got to know a lot of stuff. You got to understand how to read addresses, all that type of stuff, transaction instructions, contract addresses, where, we can have a lot of people getting benefits in blockchain without seeing all that stuff. A lot of that can be abstracted away from the user. And we're still trying to figure out what that really looks like. But we have seen lots of use cases where, I've talked about, I see the future of banking being very crypto-centric, and a transition to that, or maybe even the final destination for mass adoption is basically, online banking being revolutionized to be more crypto backend. So basically, an online banking experience that works for most sort of normies, right? Where you have a username and password, where you have a custodian, but inside of that, you have crypto-based services. And like if you want to do a wire transfer, like you're doing it over the crypto rails, right? If you want to use high interest savings, it's using DeFi. We saw that come out with Coinbase recently. I've had this prediction for a long time that this is where we're headed, and Coinbase is actually starting to do it. Okay, where basically you have the ability to do DeFi on the back end, okay, and plug into that, and then Coinbase gets a small fee, and you can get a higher performance savings account with stable coins. And so, that's kind of like Coinbase is basically becoming a crypto bank where you can do a lot more stuff like that. You can buy NFTs on it. It's becoming a lot more than just a place to go buy Bitcoin or buy ETH and these other cryptos and maybe stake it on their platform. It's becoming a whole kind of suite of tools for crypto assets. Now, I think that, if Coinbase can become that, we see lots of other exchanges kind of heading in that direction. They're not going to be exchanges anymore. They're going to become, like I was saying, banks, marketplaces. And that's actually going to put some significant competitive pressure on the banking world, okay, to either adapt or, be irrelevant. So that's where I see things headed. And then also, Also that what the future could be for these crypto exchange platforms, could be marketplaces. I mean, think about the things that can become crypto assets that aren't crypto assets yet. People are talking more and more about that aren't tradable on an exchange like Coinbase yet, or really anywhere. What if Coinbase is the place that you go buy your house one day? You know what I mean? Like if we do real estate titles and transactions with crypto assets, right? Like if the deed to your house, title, all that stuff is put on a blockchain. What if you just go on Coinbase and buy it there, right? What if you want to go buy, the intellectual property rights to a musician's catalog? Like what if you just got onto Coinbase and bought it, right? Like we're just scratching the surface of what you could do with this. I mean, we saw this the other day. Bruce Springsteen sells music catalog for $500 million as streaming boom leads to perfect storm for artists. So it's like, what if somebody had just made this purchase on Coinbase or like an OpenSea type platform? You know what I mean? Like this could happen in crypto worlds where basically you have this stuff modeled, and who's going to buy this? And then you might say, but who's going to do that? Like who's going to get on? Well, what's probably going to happen is some crypto billionaire, right? Who is just like think about everybody who's buying these insanely expensive NFTs, right? And then somebody's like, man, I want to buy Bruce Springsteen's music catalog, or I want to form a DAO to buy Bruce Springsteen's music catalog. We're going to pool the money to do it, and we're going to do it on a blockchain. Like that's what's possible, and that's it. Like there's a significant chance that things like that will happen in the future. We already tried to buy the U.S. Constitution with the DAO. It was not successful, but we could see more stuff like this happening in the future. All right, everybody. That's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. There are videos out so that more people can learn about blockchain. And if you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find any of my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you how to become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching.